Now we're going to go to our third topic, and obviously it's March Madness. What the heck else is everybody talking about besides NFL free agency, especially here in New England? But we're going to talk March Madness right now, and we've all been looking at our brackets and trying to figure out this season because, like your high school basketball season, Mike, March Madness is going to be crazy because of COVID and traveling, and we've already seen it affect some of these teams. So I think what we're going to do, and our producer, Ben Kudo was talking about it before, we're going to go to the different regions just to see who we had in the Final Four for each region. So I think we're going to start with the West, all the way up there at the top left, exactly. And for this region, for me, guys, I'm just picking Gonzaga. I don't see why you don't pick Gonzaga here. I know Gonzaga hasn't won the national title, but they've been so consistently dominant all season long. Jalen Suggs is a stud. And they just have, I think, the most complete team, offensively, defensively, shooting, athletic, a little bit of size. Gonzaga's the team for me in this region. I don't see how you can't pick them.
Mikey, let's go with you.
Well, I can because essentially my Vavall picked Gonzaga too. So my grandmother picked Gonzaga because everyone's grandmother picked Gonzaga because they're 1-1. I don't trust Gonzaga more than a wet paper bag that I'm leaving from Shaw's. I cannot deal with Gonzaga. I can't. I just can't. Like they're loaded, but they play St. Mary's, and they're always they're always one, but they never do anything. So listen, I got Iowa. I've been on that Iowa trade since day one. My boys, my basketball boys, if they were here, they can absolutely talk about it. I literally ran a practice of just doing up and down wing screens and then sealing and closing like Iowa does, because everything they do is 100% fundamentally sound. Now, listen, you might say their schedule is what it was. But it's I still got them. I mean, side note, I know we're not doing, but I still sneaky Oregon. Oregon is really good. Okay, and the only reason I know this is because I have a 3-year-old and I stay up watching Pac-12 games. And Oregon is good. Like, they are good, and they're better than a 7 seed. Like, they really are. So it's unfortunate. I think they're going to run into them. They could run into them in the second round, Iowa and Oregon. So I'm still going on that Iowa train. But, you heard it here first. Like the Ducks are legit.
To your point, Oregon recruits well in every sport. So, I mean, they're legit in everything. But to your point as well, I think Iowa and Gonzaga are going to meet in the Elite Eight. So that's the one I got. I've got my old school bracket here on paper written down because I'm an old school coach. But I've got those two meeting in the Elite Eight. So if there's one team that I think can beat Gonzaga and talk about a front court presence, it's Iowa. They got that dominant big man in the center. That guy is unstoppable. Seems like nobody can move him off his point. So if there's a team that can beat Gonzaga, it's Iowa. But I don't know. I gotta go with Gonzaga here as my choice for that bracket.
Cool. Yeah, good stuff, man. Brandon, that's a smart pick, buddy. That's a smart pick.
Right.
Let's go to the next region, Ben, when you have a second. And I know I think of all the other regions, these are some of the tougher ones to pick. But I know the big pick in this region, I think this is the region that might have the most kind of different teams that could be in it. But I have Ohio State in this region just because I think their path is not that difficult to get to the Final Four compared to some of the other teams in the other brackets. So I'm picking Ohio State. I think they got their tough losses out of the way already too. I know they were struggled down the stretch. I think they lost 4 straight towards the end of the season, but I think they got that out of the way. You're going to head not a far commute over to Indianapolis, and they can just do their thing in the tournament.
Yeah,
Mikey,
yeah. Again, I'm hesitant, and I know I'll probably throw a curveball at Benjamin, and I'm sorry about that, buddy, because I was on the fence about this anyway. And the obvious pick would be Baylor. They're defensively dominant, and they have the ability to shoot the 3. But listen, it's gonna be Villanova. That's who it's gonna be. It's gonna be Villanova because they out of this bracket. And Pat, you are right. This is in my opinion, definitely a pick 'em toss 'em bracket. You know what they got? The best coach in the bracket. All right, and they're tested. They've been there. They know what to do. And not to mention they play in a really difficult conference. So we can't look at schedule. We can't look at end of season records right now. Pat, you just mentioned it.
Even without Gillespie.
Well, and here's the deal. And yes, even without Gillespie, only because I feel like they have enough depth at the wing level that they'll be okay. But listen, if you make a solid point the easiest path, I think, is going to eventually end up with the final. It's going to be in the Final Four here, and Ohio State does have a pretty easy path. You're absolutely right, being in the bottom half of that bracket.
Right.
I think this is probably one of the easier parts of the bracket. So the selection committee kind of put a dud here, to be honest. I know some of these teams are loving it because it is going to be an easy path to the championship. But I've got Nova. I've got Nova going here too. It's great minds think alike. And I'm going with the coaching too and the program history. And Nova knows how to win. They've been there before. They've come out of a bracket being the sleeper and gotten deep there before. I think they're going to upset a couple of teams. I've got them upsetting Baylor. I'm sure the Bears don't like hearing that. But I've got them upsetting Baylor on their way to the Elite Eight. And so I've got Nova. I've got Nova going kind of far, and they're kind of my sleeper. They're my Cinderella. So let's put that shoe on right now because that's my pick. Nova's my Cinderella.
Good stuff, man. Changing my pick to Villanova. No, I'm just kidding. I'll stick with Ohio State for now. I'm probably going to be, doubting myself later on, but we'll see what happens. Ben, let's go to our next bracket, our next region rather, and take a look at the East. And for me, guys, this is a little bit of an upset pick for me, but I really like this team. Even though they struggled in the conference tournament with turnovers, I have Florida State going to the Final Four out of this bracket. They're always that long, athletic team that can fly up and down the floor, but they have never been able to shoot, except for this year. They're shooting well from three, super athletic. Leonard Hamilton finally gets to the Final Four. I'm taking Florida State.
Mikey?
Yeah, the length is great until they meet Michigan. And Michigan's length is better, and they have the best center in the country right now in Hunter Dickinson. Like, he can't be stopped. He's killer on the glass. He's a 20-20 dude. And when it comes game time, guess what? This big man makes his free throws, and that's huge. Like, he just dominates games. And I know, listen, Florida State's super athletic. You can get them into foul trouble for sure, right? Because this is college basketball. You only got 5. But Dickinson is a game changer. He is, he's got that lefty soft touch. As soon as he gets it in that block, in that lock, it's guaranteed too. So listen, hard to pick it. I did front run with Michigan here. Listen, and I tell my players this all the time. They all want to wear their gear so tight. I'm like, dude, Michigan with the Fab Five and the baggy shorts, and I was like, you guys look ridiculous. I was like, we're going back to old school. I was like, We're going some baggy yellow shorts. All right, we're kicking it Chris Webber style. Michigan's tough, man. They're tough. I got them coming out of here.
I was just doing a little dance over here because everyone knows I'm a huge Florida State fan, no matter what sport it is. So that's why I gave the 2 thumbs up. For the first time in a while, Florida State's got a good basketball team. So I am silently rooting for them, but my pick is Michigan. Go Blue.
Let's go,
Blue. I've got Michigan winning this. I've got Michigan going all the way to the Final Four. I think Coach Juwan Howard's got this program going in the right direction. And you can even go back. Hey, if this is your first time watching us, first off, subscribe to the show, give us a like, but go back and watch some of the old shows. And I was preaching Michigan at the beginning of the college season. So I'm not jumping off the train now. I'm riding that baby all the way till the wheels fall off. So I got Michigan. I got Michigan winning this. Go Blue.
The funny thing is, Brandon, you go back to that show, I was talking about Villanova. I have no problem pivoting to somebody else, man. But we're gonna go to our last bracket of the tournament. That's the Midwest, and I think this is a tough bracket. But right now, I have Illinois winning the bracket, the number 1 seed. They were looking good towards the end of the year. They obviously have the big guy, Cockburn, and a couple of some nice guards as well. And they've been playing well down the stretch in a tough Big Ten. I think Illinois has been playing really well towards the end of the season. Sometimes you just got to carry that momentum into the tournament. I think they're going to do that, and I think they're going to make the Final Four.
And that's a great pick. I just think I think Cockburn, whatever the phonetics are there, is kind of Porzingis-ish. He's a little soft for my liking. He's a little too skinny in the meat and the bones. I don't think he's got it. I don't think he's got what it takes. He's got the length, but to get past some of these teams, this is my upset pick, and I got West Virginia. West Virginia is tough. They play in a good conference. It is. I really love Bruce Pearl. Like, he reminds me of myself. So like I had Tennessee for a minute, like I did. Like I think that that would have been a great pick because again, the nature of his fireness, like he just creates momentum on his own, just being fiery, and he's a player. Like the players love him. He's not afraid to call him out. So I love Bruce Pearl, but West Virginia right now too tough, too defensively stout, and can really go deep. They go 8-9 deep. So I think West Virginia again battle tested, got conferences that are tough. So that's a little my Midwest sleeper. I got the Mountaineers.
The Mountaineers, baby.
Mountaineers.
I gotta say this. I mean, anytime if you're getting compared to Porzingis, then you're doing a pretty good job. All right. So if the kid's getting compared to Porzingis, he's all right. All right. And I don't want to, disappoint your country roads here. And I'd love to start singing that song, Country Roads, West Virginia. But I've got the Illinois Illini or whatever they call themselves. Is that what it is?
Fighting Illini. Yeah, that's what it is.
Not an original mascot. It's terrible.
The Fighting Illini, I've got them coming out. They've just had a strong season. And this is the one bracket that I can say that I'm actually truly riding the seed there. So
there you go, man. That's a good pick there with Illinois. But I think it's going to be one of the craziest NCAA tournaments in history just because of COVID, what everybody's doing. None of the blue bloods are there. I mean, Duke's not in it at all. Kansas has got stuff going on. I mean, I know they're in it, but it's like you don't think they're going to make. Villanova does have an injury. So there's going to be this new team, I feel like, that's going to, rise up and win the national title. And then I think there's going to be Final Four teams like we're even talking about that we haven't seen in a while. So it's going to be a lot of fun, this NCAA tournament. But, guys, that was a great segment. Coach Duarte, thanks so much for coming on, man. We had a blast with you. We wish we could keep you on more. We'll definitely have you back. Once you guys win the state title next year, we'll have you guys back on the show. We'll have you back on the show. Maybe one of your players too. We'll see what we can do there. But thanks so much for coming on, man.
Well, no, thank you guys. One step at a time, but I really appreciate it. The boys have really been working hard, and it's great to get a little bit of love. And you guys are doing some great stuff. So keep up the great work.
Go Sachems.
Sachems.
Middleboro Sachems. Well, Coach. Thanks again. And, folks, we're going to take a quick, 15-second break. And then when we come back, we're going to continue our topics. And, again, at the bottom of your screen, you're going to see our Twitter handles down there. And Coach Duarte's on Twitter as well. I'm sure you can find him there. And then also make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube. Folks, we'll be right back.
Thanks, Coach Duarte.
Later, guys.